Busch. Ryan Blaney battling on the outside as they race off four.
Harvick started first on this restart in 2 laps. He has dropped back to fourth. It's Kyle Larson, Truex, Kyle Busch, then Kevin Harvick. The battle between Kurt Busch and Blaney is raging for fifth.
Could this be by design for Kevin Harvick? I don't know. He's back in that fourth spot, losing ground with the top 3 behind him. It is Ryan Blaney going to the high side of the racetrack, taking a spot away from Kurt Busch, and here comes several cars to challenge him.
Yeah, it looks like, it's the 14 of Clint Boyer now locking onto the bumper of Kurt Busch off turn 4.
They were 3 wide at the exit of turn 2. Keselowski, Eric Jones, and Joey Logano. Logano nearly got squeezed in the fence, had to back out of the gas. He's now charging back to the front.
The front 7 now have single filed out, and it is a hornet's nest behind them. Joey Logano to the top of the racetrack. Beneath him, it's Denny Hamlin. They're all over the back bumper of Clint Boyer, shoving Boyer out of turn 2.
That is a great race. In front, it is Clint Boyer. Then side by side, it's Joey Logano along with Denny Hamlin. Brad Keselowski also right in the mix there along with Eric Jones.
Meanwhile, closer to the front, Kyle Busch is going after the second place racer of Martin Truex Jr. Busch has cut it down to a single car length.
The first stage, Kyle Busch went from the back to almost the front and then just kind of stagnated in second, third, fourth, much of the central part of this race. Now he's starting to turn up the wick as he's right on the back bumper of teammate Truex.
Kyle Busch now locks right to the bumper of Martin Truex Jr. halfway down the backstretch. Busch will look to the outside, moves up to the middle of the racetrack. Martin Truex Jr. down at the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch unable to advance all 4.
A little farther back, Clint Boyer getting some heat from Denny Hamlin. Logano closing in there, and right behind them it's Keselowski, Eric Jones, and Daniel Suarez.
And now it's single file about 15 deep. The front 4 begun to pull away. Harvick is still keeping touch with the front running trio. It's about 10 car lengths back then to the 5th place car of Ryan Blaney, and he's now beginning to get some pressure from Kurt Busch.
Behind Kurt Busch is Clint Boyer. Then comes Denny Hamlin. 2 car lengths back to Joey Logano. Logano now under attack by his teammate, Brad Keselowski down the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4.
Curious to see what happens to Kevin Harvick here. He started on the point here in this stage and now has faded back to 4th. Ryan Blaney has maintained about an 8 car length cushion behind the 4th place running Harvick.
And keeping an eye on pole sitter Eric Almirola, got a speeding penalty early and has not been able to climb back into the top 15. Race leader Kyle Larson, 3 car length advantage over Truex.
Down the backstretch, single file now, the top 12, 13 cars. Larson worked the very bottom of the racetrack. Then comes Martin Truex Jr., followed by Kyle Busch.
Watching a dogfight back there for 17th, 18th, and 19th. William Byron's back there. His teammate Alex Bowman now looks to his inside. And right behind them, making up some ground, it's going to be Chase Elliott along with Ryan Preece. Jimmy Johnson, though, a lap down behind them.
And Ryan Preece has been right around the top 20 all afternoon long. Has certainly put in a pretty decent show. Stayed on the lead lap. He'll go to the very top of the racetrack now as Jimmy Johnson's trying to make up some ground from a lap down.
Yeah, Jimmy's having a tough time right now because right in front of him is his teammate. Meanwhile, Ryan Preece slides in right in between those 2 cars. That is a hotly contested spot on the racetrack, all 4.
141 laps left to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's check in with our O'Reilly Auto Parts pit reporters. We'll start off with Doug Turnbull.
First off, Landon Castle just pitted from the back of the field there. Maybe another flat tire because they only changed 2 on that 00 Camaro. And in that last run, we saw the Eric Jones machine get up a bit to about the 8th position. Well, he had to restart 11th after a slow pit stop and then got caught 3 wide on this hectic restart. He radioed back to his crew. Apparently he got tight and up into the 41, and he said, "Tell the 41 I'm sorry there. I got tight and up into you." Wendy Vittorini.
Ryan Blaney is holding his own in the 5th position directly behind Kevin Harvick. He was too tight up top, especially on takeoff, and then was sliding the nose towards the end of a run. They made an air pressure adjustment on Ryan Blaney's machine. Also deep in the field, if you're a Chase Elliott fan, you're going to have to look back in the 19th position for him. This last time down pit road was an extended pit stop where he lost a lot of time. The reason behind that, they were fixing a hole in the nose that they had acquired earlier in the race from getting into the back of Clint Boyer. So they took some time on pit road, fixed the nose on Chase Elliott's machine. He went out in the 22nd position and has raced his way up to 19th right now. Brad Gilly.
I have 3 Toyota teams in my section of pit road. That last round of pit stops was good, bad, and worse. Good for Kyle Busch. Got a great pit stop that actually moved him up from the back of the top 10 up into 3rd where he's running right now. It was bad for Denny Hamlin. A slow pit stop for the number 11, but they did get the adjustment made that they wanted. That moved him out of the top 5, and worse for Matt DiBenedetto. He actually had to come in after the green flag came out, had a problem with the left rear and a tire rub, so they came in and changed left side tires after the green had come out. Brett McMillan?
Bubba Wallace spent an extended amount of time on pit road during that round of pit stops. They broke an alternator belt, so they had to spend time repairing that and changing a battery. And remember, we've talked a lot during this race about the whole jam up here in the pit boxes between Bowman and Joey Logano and the tired Toyota of Martin Truex Jr. And it really hasn't been going too well. They've been trying to work together, but it didn't work out that way last time, as Martin Truex Jr. has pitted toward the back of his pit box, but during that round of pit stops didn't feel like Joey Logano pitted far enough. He got out cleanly, but while he was sitting in his pit box, he gestured out the window and, well, let's just say he was calling Joey Logano number 1.
All right, thanks a lot there, Brett McMillan. Thanks to everybody for those updates from pit road. While all that went on, not much happened up with the front 4, Mark. Kevin Harvick made a little bit of run at Kyle Busch, but he has now drifted back.